Hello and welcome to another episode of Swim Sets by the Pool. This is our first live episode. If you're watching on YouTube, you already know that. But if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, it's just going to be just the same as always, just with a little ocean sounds in the background, because me and Greg are here in beautiful Oceanside, California. Greg, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Yeah, the calming sound of the ocean behind us really sets the tone for our masterful thoughts on swimming.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting pretty good at this, not to toot our own horn, but we've cranked out so many quality swim sets and we're just keeping them coming. So yeah, we've got some more for you today. And as always, we've got a quick tip to start the episode. And this is something we've talked about a little bit in the past, but I'm going to expand on it a little bit more. So if you've listened to our past episodes, you're just getting all the juice on this one. So my quick tip today is when you're swimming with your buddies, talk to them and be like, hey, if it's a set where you have to go fast, just be like, hey guys, we're going to lock in for this and we're actually going to go fast. And just that little moment where you tell each other hey, this is a fast one, we're going to actually go fast. I think it puts you in a better mindset to get the most out of your swimming, because that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to get the most out of our swimming and just get better. That's why you guys are listening to this podcast, because you want to get better at swimming. So yeah, when you're swimming with your friends, just focus in for those fast intervals. Just saying something like, hey, lock in, let's go fast on this one, last one, fast one. I know all the time in swim team, we were like, okay, last one, fast one. And then you always get a little bit more out of that. So yeah.
No, that's true. And yeah, someone might be on the ropes. They're kind of thinking, oh, I might get dropped on this last one. And you kind of give them that little bit of encouragement and they get better for it. So yeah, it kind of sets the tone for everyone. And that's what a squad does. We always say some of the people, it elevates everyone's game, and then in the end, if you do that consistently over time, you all are 1% better than you would have been swimming on your own.
Yeah.
So that's a good one.
And speaking of swimming with squads, I think Greg wrote this episode.
I did.
Right? Or he wrote this workout for someone who I know swims in a squad, because I see him post about it on Instagram.
Sometimes. Yeah, I think this one, I kind of wrote for him. He was going to do it solo, like a solo swim once a week. And this is kind of written with a developing swimmer in mind. I mean, he's swum for a lot of years, but he has not really progressed in the way that he wants. So yeah, just a little bit of everything, and I guess we'll get through it.
Yeah, so pretty solid warm up. 400 choice, 200 kick, build by 50. I've been kicking a lot more in my warm ups, and I think it really has been helping me. It's just getting those legs going, and 200 pull, build by 50. So yeah.
Yeah, and I don't always love doing the paddles and then taking them off, but I don't know. Sometimes you gotta do a few things that are new or different and say, oh, I don't like it that way. Well, maybe do it that way a little bit and then kind of see how it goes. So it's only a 200 pull. And then we get into some variables, which is we've seen in past workouts we've done. I said Ken mix in strokes. The set is pretty heavy. The workout's pretty heavy freestyle. So, ideally someone can throw in a little bit of, mixed strokes, even if it's just on the 50 or the 25 easy, do a little backstroke. So, get the heart rate up. Yeah. Get ready for what's coming. And it's kind of an aerobic set with a little bit of drill and a little bit of mixed stuff. So this isn't really too hard of a workout, but just kind of changing the gears a little bit in the next set. So we got to get ready for that.
Yeah, this may be a little anecdotal, but pretty much every good swimmer that I've seen does some stroke in their warm-up. I know Greg does it. We always talk about that. I've started doing it. And then, I was swimming with some guys yesterday, and the fast guys do stroke in their warm-up. So, yeah, definitely good to think about.
Yeah, 100%. And, I guess the main set, it's kind of they call them shotgun. I don't know. That's just from what I've heard over the years, where you do an interval, and then you do 2 times half that interval, and then you kind of do 4 times the big. So, it's 300, 2 150s, 475, 650s. So everything's a 300 in length.
Yeah.
When I write workouts for people, sometimes you don't exactly know the paces they're doing day to day all the time, and it's hard to keep track. So it's kind of like rest 20 to start and down to 10. So, if you do a 300s, you take kind of 20 seconds rest, and then as you get down to the 75s, 50, you're taking 10 seconds rest. 300, the middle 100 is faster. On the 150s, the middle 50 is faster, and 75s are 25 non-free, 50 free, and 50s are descend total breath count. down to like 2 or 3 in the whole thing. So yeah, it's just kind of mixing it up. What are your initial thoughts? Roast my swim.
Yeah, I mean, this is a terrible set, man. Not gonna just kidding. This is pretty good. I like that the middle 100 and the middle 50 are faster, and that like kind of goes hand in hand with those, because oftentimes I'm totally guilty of this. I start way too fast on a lot of my, like, especially if it's a longer swim, like a 300 or more than that. That first 100 will be like a couple seconds faster than the next one. So I think knowing the middle one is supposed to be fast is a good thing to have in there. And it's also, like we talk about a lot, but changing the gears. So I think that's good.
Well, the beginning of reps is always a little faster too.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's just swimming. Like, I don't know exactly why. I mean, maybe because you're fresh, but it's like in this 300, if you go say 110, the middle 100 is faster, and you go 109. That's kind of like 2 or 3 seconds faster, because that first 100 is always going to be a couple seconds faster.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it's really about the effort, but yeah, I mean, it kind of keeps you in check. You have to start that 300 just a little bit. A little bit easier. Make sure you don't burn yourself.
Yeah. What do you encourage swimmers to do for that 25 non-free? Like, what's your go-to? Do you just tell them to do fly, or like?
It kind of depends. I mean, some people can't always swim fly that like comfortably, So if it's like, yeah, just kind of whatever they're enjoying, I guess, I think is good. I would probably do mostly fly on this just because I like it. Maybe some backstroke.
Yeah.
But when it's only 25, I like doing a lot of fly anyway, just for open water swimming, shoulder strength, and I enjoy doing fly. Yeah, I guess it would depend on who's doing the set, but in the end, I just want them to get a little bit of different movement pattern in there. Because, it's a lot of free, but we have a little bit of non-free in there just to say that I'm a good coach and we don't do just freestyle.
Yeah. Man, I've had triathlon coaches in the past that just do freestyle sets. They never have you do any stroke. They never even mention it. It's like just freestyle. And if you're stagnating and you're swimming and you're like, man, why am I not improving? And you're only doing freestyle, that could be a little indicator right there.
Yeah, I had someone send me a set the other day. Maybe we'll do it on this pod, but the person had written the set and it said, oh, triathletes, if you want to sub in freestyle for the non-free, like, go ahead. And I was like, oh, I don't love that, right? Because it was like, it's a master set. It's like, hey, you can sub out the non-free for free if you're not comfortable. It's like, no, if you're not comfortable doing non-free, you need to double down. You need to work on it. You got to make sure you're competent. You can swim a 25 fly and breast without getting DQ'd.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a superstar. You don't have to train endless amounts of it, but just getting through the motions in a legal way, I think is beneficial.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think it's cool. I like the breath control, bringing it down to less breaths.
Yeah.
I think this is kind of like a side benefit of that is you just focus more on your stroke because you're not focusing on breathing a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, it gives you a chance to like really think about your head position, keeping your head nice and still, and yeah, just focusing on what you're doing with your stroke. So I think that's something that a lot of people could benefit from.
Yeah, and the set's written a little bit vague. Like, it doesn't say middle 50 X percentage or whatnot. It's kind of an aerobic day, and you just want to go a little bit faster in the middle. If you're feeling great, you can make it faster than if you were not feeling so great.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the beauty of swim day to day. You don't know exactly how you're going to feel. So just kind of going by effort and just knowing, hey, I'm going to change gears a little bit in the middle and then settle back down. And, by the second 150, maybe you're the middle 50s faster again because you're warmed up and you're feeling better. So, just kind of changing things up. And I think the breath count's a bit big. I mean, 3 breaths or less than a 50 it's not even that little.
Yeah.
I mean, in the end, like most swimmers can do a 50, 75, even no breath. So, yeah.
I think that's cool. So yeah, next part of the set, 1625s. I like that you put rest 10-ish seconds because it's like how you're swimming on the day, maybe you need a little more, maybe you're just like fine with cruising through. And yeah, so 4 one arm, fully rotate, arm at side, and then alternate sides each 25, and then 4 underwater recovery, 4 build up to fast finish, and then 4 butterfly. So yeah,
just kind of a mix of stuff. I think these are good drills that you can do on your own that would provide benefit. I mean, sometimes you need to do drills, someone's watching you, and then you can kind of implement. But I think one arm, you'll just end up, feeling that catch a little bit more. And, when I was in New Zealand last month and I was watching Leo Bergier do warm-up in the pool. And it was funny because I had done one arm in underwater recovery, or long dog as people call it, and I saw him get in and he did the exact same drills. And he's one of the best in the world. And there's a reason why guys like Leo have come so far and are so good at swimming, because they do all these little things and just reinforce. Like Leo Bergier doesn't need to do drills anymore. He's probably fine, but he still does in his warm-up. Like you said, you just have to keep reinforcing that. And, there's a lot of triathletes out there who never do any of that type of stuff, and they're probably not going to get the best out of themselves.
Yeah, and, I mean, guys, if the best swimmers or triathletes in the world are doing something, they probably have thought about it. Like, the higher and higher level you get, the more and more you think about refining the process. So, those top-level pros, they're not just, guessing. They're not like, oh, what am I going to do today? Like, they have a lot of intention behind it and focus, and, that's how you get better.
Yeah, and those little things over time, months over months, year over year, make the difference. It's like, I'm not going to get super into drills for 2 weeks and then not do them anymore. You're going to do it just a tiny bit each day, every day, and over time, it makes a big difference.
Yeah. So, 4 underwater recovery drill, and then 4 build fast finish, 4 butterfly. Yeah. That's pretty good. 10-ish seconds rest.
Yeah. And whatever rest you need to do to do the work adequately and focus, right? Like you can't rush through this. If you need to take 20 seconds on the flies or whatever, that's perfectly adequate.
Yeah, definitely. And then classic 4 150s pull at the end, descend 1 through 4, and you just put 80 to 85%. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the percentage is good sometimes because it just helps you, I don't know, get out of your own head on pace and stuff. It's just okay, I'm going for this effort percentage.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Well, and it's a largely aerobic day, so we don't have to. That little bit of unknown at the end. I'm descend to X percentage, or a range is always good, because maybe it's 75% and you're feeling kind of bad and you're just going to take it a little easier. You're feeling great. Maybe you dial it up to 90, and that's okay if you're feeling good on a day that's aerobic and you kind of push towards threshold or whatever towards the end of the set and then you're warming down, that's perfectly fine. You'll recover fine from that.
Yeah, I think that's good. And 200 warm down. I mean, it's only a 3,600 yard set, but it's more about the quality. It's I don't really have a lot. I don't even think there's anything I would change. I actually might just do this that next week, try it out.
It's kind of like a maintenance type set.
Yeah.
Like, we're not doing anything too crazy. We're doing a teeny bit of speed, a little bit of non-free, a little bit of kick, a couple drills, some aerobic work, and you don't have to rewrite the whole, how you want to swim every day. Like, I have to do this new thing. Just little bits over time, reinforcing good habits. And that's kind of what this set is. It was like, I need a Tuesday aerobic swim that's 45 to an hour, and boom, here's one. And that's kind of how I wrote it with that in mind.
Yeah, this is a great set too. Greg wrote this for Evan because he was swimming on his own this day, and it's enough to keep you interested if you're swimming on your own, which I like, because that's one thing I realized last year. I was kind of struggling with doing these kind of boring sets by myself, and this would be a nice set. Slap it on a kickboard, print it off beforehand, and keep you entertained. And by the end, you're like, I've done 3,600. And then maybe you're like, maybe I'll just do a couple more 150s, make it 4K.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you can always add it. Yeah, it depends how much time you have. And even doing this set with some people, if you're not on your own, I feel like it would just go by so quick. And we were swimming with some people this last week, and it's just amazing how, it's January for me. I've been swimming my whole life, and I don't have any races for a few months, so I usually take it pretty chill. If I'm swimming on my own, I'll get 2,500 in and be like, I'm kind of done. But I've been able to get to 4K just without even thinking about it, just with swimming with the people. Yeah. So we always hype on that. You got to swim with people too, but if you don't, this is a good set to kind of get through by yourself.
Yeah, definitely. Sweet. Well, I hope you guys like this set. I hope you guys do it, and do it by yourself, do it with a friend. But Greg, what do you got for us to close out this episode?
The hot take of the day is, and I did say this on social media the other day, but it's a great one. Practicing drafting in the pool is a complete waste of time. I don't really need to elaborate.
I don't know about that. That's kind of that's a little too far. No. I mean, I've practiced drafting in the pool, but yeah, okay,
it's a waste of time. It's
Okay.
completely different.
if Greg said it, it must be true.
Yeah.
He's the fastest swimmer in triathlon, folks. First out of the water at World Champs. So yeah, thanks for listening to our podcast. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and yeah, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on any podcast platform of your choosing, and see you on the next one.
Cheers. Later.